Hi there. I am happy to be back with my oracle cards, and today I'm going to be doing some reading the Rose Oracle, and yeah, just really happy to be back. It's been a little while since I have been online doing these sessions, these readings, and teaching and talking about oracle cards. I'm, what am I, over 6 months pregnant now, and so I'll be taking a couple months off over when I have the baby, and so I'm planning on doing more live gatherings like this in the lead up. And I've got actually 2 other events part of this series where I'm going to be really focusing on like teaching like tips and lessons regarding reading oracle cards. Today I'm going to keep it really simple, and I'm going to just show you what I do to tune in before I do a reading and talk you through my favorite reading. It's a simple one, but you can go deep with it as well. It's a good one to do for yourself on a particular area of your life, but it's also a really good one like if you work with clients, or if you just want to connect with a friend and do readings for each other. It's a really simple one where we look at where you are now and the highest outcome of where you could be. And yeah, it is definitely one of my favorite readings. I call it the Rose Garden 2-card spread. So I'll be talking you through that too, and then I will be doing some readings as well. Great to see you all. So great. So great to see you guys. Okay, so let me make sure that everyone can hear me fine. Yes, it looks like everything's working really well. So I hope you are all doing really well. It's been a little while since I've been on here. And I'm going to jump right in and really just kind of simply describe what I do before I do a reading, whether it's for myself or for someone else. And I'm going to talk us through that, and then I'm going to be doing a reading showing the future Rose Garden spread. And so I'm going to invite you to start thinking now about if there's a question that you're living into, if there's an area of your life you want to explore, just so we can work with the reading practically as well. And so I'll be pulling these cards on behalf of all of us as well. So yeah, you might want to think about that now, and if you want to put it in the comments, then you can go for it. And yes, so let's tune in. So I always start by holding my cards to my heart and taking a deep breath in and breathing out. I then imagine a rose at the center of my heart, and you can do that with me now too, and inviting the rose to open petal by petal, revealing a light in the middle. And this light represents the intelligent part of you, the soul, the ancient one, the one that chose to be here now in this body, in this life, at this time. So really inviting that part of you to step forward now. This is the part of you that is connected to the intelligence in the entire cosmos as ordered universe. It's the same intelligence that tells the flowers when to bloom, the seasons when to come and go. And it's that intelligence that informs that part of us that just knows, the intuitive, all-knowing part of us. And then taking a deep breath, and I then connect in with the cards and imagine that light connecting in with the cards. And then I connect with the sacred, or, if I'm particularly working with the rose, which these cards are, I might invoke Mother Rose, but you can invoke the sacred or your guides or God or the goddess, whatever it is that you believe in. And you say, bless these cards and speak through them. Reveal to me what's helpful to know and to remember. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And sometimes I also add in, please guide me, please lead me, please show me the way. And if I'm doing a reading for someone else, I'll really consciously kind of like put anything that I'm carrying to the side and request that I can be a clear vessel at this time. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay. So then I just open my eyes and I'm ready to jump into the reading. And you know, sometimes I'll do it really quickly and other times I'll spend a little bit longer in it. So what I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to tell you about what the 2-card spread is, and then I'm going to pull 2 cards on behalf of all of us. So if you've just joined, think about an area of your life or a question that you're living into right now that you'd like to focus on. So this is a 2-card reading. It is, I'd say, my go-to reading. Sometimes I'll do a 1-card or a 4-card, but this is probably the one that I go to the most. It's called the Rose Garden. And so in position 1, when I use the Rose Oracle, I'll use the box like this, and position 1 will be there, and position 2 will be there. But if you're using a different oracle, of course, like just place them in front of you in whatever order, as long as it's clear what's card 1 and card 2. So in position 1 is the seed. So if you imagine the seed in the soil, in the context of the rose garden, the seed is where we are now. It's the ground that we are on, the reality where we are now. And so it's really the lay of the land, right? And then position 2 is the future rose garden. So, you know, it makes sense. It is a possible future outcome. It's I see it as like the highest outcome, right? And so it may be giving us information on the full bloom, the future fruit, the future garden that those seeds within us that we're tending to now have the potential to grow into, or it might just show us what that future outcome is. So yes, so sometimes it can reveal details that will help you kind of like take the next step towards that, and sometimes it can literally show you the highest possible outcome. So what I want you to do now is really think about that area of your life that you're living into, that question that you're living into, invoking that in now. And I'm going to shuffle the cards and pull 2 cards for the Rose Garden spread on behalf of us all. When you're doing your card reading, I think we all find our way of doing it. Like some people split it into 3 piles. I personally just work really intuitively. So however the cards want me to work with them, I feel like they just kind of tell me it's a feeling from within rather than like a strict rule of what to do. But, you know, everyone's different. Okay, so pull our 2 positions here. So we've got 2 really interesting cards actually. So we've got here in position 1, which is the seed, which is the beloved within. And the beloved within was the sacred union. It represents the beloved within. I was actually going to call it the beloved within, but we ended up going with sacred union. And it really is, it is a card of unity. It's a card of, sometimes it comes up because there's a yearning for relationship, but I see this as more like the inner relationship. And so it is inner and outer relationships. And so, many of us have discovered as we journey on that often the relationships outside of us reflect something that's happening within as well. And so, this is definitely something that this card represents. And I'm seeing the highest outcome, which is a very, very powerful card. So I always read the cards in context to that. So this really is, this card in this context, and I'll reveal the context in a sec, for me is really saying that, it really is about tending to the individual relationship right now, and kind of like, and I think that we have been doing that a lot, just globally, like everything's been kind of pulled back in over the past few years, where we have been called to really look deep within us, look into our immediate surroundings, rather than kind of spreading ourselves really, really thin. And interestingly, what we've got in the highest outcome is, I think this is the most powerful card in the Rose Oracle deck. I really wanted it. I think it can come across as quite it's like a heavy hitting card. It can be quite startling, but it wakes us up. It's big transformation. So it's called the Wasteland, sustainability, slow down, tend to your garden. And so in this context, what it really is saying for me is like how important it is right now to really listen to those little whispers that we're receiving. Listen to any ways that we're being called to nourish ourselves, heal ourselves, slowing down, treating ourselves with tenderness. And, if we are being triggered by external relationships, how can we turn the gaze within? How can we, not in a sense of like blaming ourselves or anything, but like how can we scoop that child within us that is hurting, that is whatever it is, exhausted or sad or struggling with grief or finding it hard to let go. It's really like coming back in, cocooning yourself and being the mother that you wish you had, whether it's like the archetypal mother or, just like literally mothering yourself. So that's this, but and I think for me in this context that, I've been speaking to a couple of astrologers lately about this year that we've got coming up, 2023, and gosh, this few year phase that we've all been through, which has been so full on, right? And there's a couple of things, big shifts happening next year, and I'm fascinated by astrology, but I'm also overwhelmed with all the details, and so I tend to pick up the soul themes rather than the details of what's happening astrologically, like with the planets and the stars and the eclipses and all of that kind of stuff. But for me, what I'm feeling for this coming year and beyond is, we've lived through particularly 2020, 2021. It's been really about so much polarity coming up, so much division coming up, and of course they're really just reflections of everything that was already there within us. We're just like fully seeing it, and I know that can be really difficult to navigate, so when we're navigating that, it's like it feels like this separation, the separation has never been more extreme. And so this card here, the sacred union, that's why this is so relevant, because it is about like working on the inner relationship in order for those outer relationships to exist. And then here in the Wastelands card, you know, there's two possible outcomes. We can go more separate, or we can return to the earth. We can return to each other. We can tend to our garden, do our bit, whether it's like, you know, from a physical point of view, just the tiny little patch of land that you've got, planting seeds, you know, nourishing the plants that you've got there, maybe not cutting your grass perfectly and letting the wildflowers grow back. And so this, of course, can be symbolic and metaphoric in the way that I'm talking about it. So yeah, and when I'm visioning into 2023 and beyond, I think that there is an opportunity off the back of all of this polarization, all of this, you know, heaviness that many of us have been going through, where we have the invitation to find ways to truly embody our soul, to truly embody our deepest prayers. I think that in many cases, particularly in the spiritual world, particularly in the New Age world, often when we go through an awakening, what happens is, at the beginning anyway, it's like a whole new world opens up. And that's amazing. And we feel like we found the answers, and there's an answer, and there's like a linear place to get to. And then the longer that we're on the journey, the more we realize, like, oh my gosh, the more I know, the less I know for sure, and the more certain I am about the great mystery. The more we experience the extremes of life and you know, the heartbreak and heartache that is unavoidable in the human experience, the more compassionate we are to others who are on the journey in various different stages, and of course to ourselves, which is really this card. It's like coming back, cradling ourselves, and being like, we're all doing our best here, you know. And so the real opportunity, so that's what I was saying. And then we go through a few different stages of awakening, and I think that the awakening process never ever ends. And then as we go along the journey, in my experience, what I've seen, particularly in spiritual circles, is that it's quite common for us to be and I'm a big advocate of like being dedicated to spiritual practice, right? It's like one of the cornerstones of everything I teach and how I live my life. But, you know, one of the things that I really woke up to over the past couple of years is just how, even though I dedicated my life to living a soul-led life, to inviting the soul to step forward and properly acting on the calls, even me, I saw how my life was compartmentalized, you know? And these are just the times we're living in and we're born into, where the sacred, in many, many cases, in many cultures around the world, is not revered. It's seen as like something you go and do rather than it is. And what I believe personally is that the sacred is everywhere. It's within all living things. It's in the flowers that when they open and close, and it's in the flowers when the petals fall to the earth. It's in the seasons, it's in the weather, it's in the spinning of the planet, it's in every single person that exists. It's within ourselves as well. And we have separated ourselves from that. And I believe that often it's through seeing ourselves as separate from nature and not seeing nature as sacred and not seeing our bodies as sacred that really causes that compartmentalization even more. And this is why we need terms like mystic and light worker and healer and all of this. But when I really sit into it and journey into it, where I get to is like, I want a world where those titles aren't necessary, because we see the sacred in the water, we see the sacred in the trees, we see the sacred in each of us. So this really is a future possible outcome, this card here, and it is a choice of like, how are we going to do embodiment? How are we going to embody the sacred? How are we going to weave the sacred back in? And so that would be my invitation for us with the highest possible outcome of probably embodying the sacred union within, which is really just like the healed state within. So that felt like a big collective reading, like maybe for the next 5 years or something for all of us, or for the planet in general. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple of readings now. If you would love a reading, so Sarah, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to do one card reading so we can get through a few. All right. Oh, Sarah, love this card when it comes up. After the rain. Oh, it is the silver lining card. It's kind of like, it's happening, sweet relief. Often this comes at the end of a difficult period, and maybe it's years, maybe it's months, maybe it's just something you've been struggling with. But it really is a card of compassion and mercy and sweet, 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 gentle relief. So if there's something that you've been struggling with or working towards, or, you know, just like trying to let go of, or maybe it's been ripped from you, this is just such a beautiful card to get. I know that, you know, healing and the process of grief and so many different things, they have their own timing to it. But this is the relief card that often comes when things are, the tide is coming back out. So, yeah. All right, Kelly Young, a card for you. Come to me. This is the manifestation card. It's feminine attraction, not like I'm going to bend the world to my will, which is more the masculine way. I mean, and when I'm saying that, I'm not talking about gender here. But yeah, I mean, if you imagine like the rose, how, and there's so many beautiful poems written about the rose in this kind of story that I'm about to share. And so it's basically how the rose doesn't kind of like run around trying to like attract the bees and, you know, other pollinators. It just like opens and attracts them to it with its beauty, with its knowing, with its fullness, with its kind of like, here I am. So this card it's definitely about opening yourself up to receive. So being in that receptive state rather than the pushing state. But it's also being in that sensual state where you're really embracing who you are. So this isn't the time to, you know, doubt yourself or dim your light or be like, oh, I wonder if someone will see me. It's just like, put yourself out there. You know, do these things that make you seen in the world. And you don't have to do it from a pushing place. You can just do it from a place of like, here I am. So there we go. Amy, it's your birthday. A reading for you. Ooh, we got a similar card that just jumped out for you. This is the Rapture card. This is the key image that I've been using for those who are in the sanctuary, my membership. And yeah, in the Southern Hemisphere, we're working with Flora, the goddess, and it's experience rapture with Flora. And so again, this is sensuality. It is about love, devotion, romance, ecstasy, pleasure. So it's going into that real feminine state. So it's a similar energy for you, Amy, and happy birthday, Amy. So it's like about receiving. It's about enjoying, like, you know, savoring your birthday cake and wearing beautiful material and calling in the more love into your life, more sensuality, more pleasure, more joy. So yeah, that would be my invitation for you. How can you receive even more pleasure and joy on your birthday and beyond? All right. Who else would like a reading? Seraphim, a card for you. Oh, we got the same card as before, and I love it when this happens. So this is a sacred union. So I'm pretty sure you were probably with us before, but you know, in this context, it really is about, I'm really wanting to go into like the inner child and scooping the inner you up, and I always imagine it like taking the inner child up and resting them in the rose of your own heart. So, you know, being the mother for the child of you and asking it, what is it that it needs? What is it that you would nourish you right now? What is it? How do you need to be heard or held? So yeah, again, there's a romance theme to this, so it can be the inner relationship as well as an outer relationship. So possibility there too. But yeah, it's all about balancing relationships. So either receiving and calling them in, or working with what you've got, but like finding that harmony place. Okay. So Claire Trust, card for you. There's definite theme to these individual cards. So this is the Bloom card. So it's linked to summer. It's linked to, it's very feminine. It's being in full bloom. So, you know, it's when, if you imagine when the rose and the flowers are just like completely out and open, they're at their fullest. Everything is juicy and ripe and full of fragrance. So this really is a card of confirmation of like creations are either being realized or going to be realized. So, you know, an example would be like a relationship coming together in like full fruition, you know, if that's what you've been, like whatever you've been longing for coming to you. It could be like getting the book deal and releasing the book out into the world. So yeah, a really very positive card actually. So that's lovely. Okay, Corey, a card for you. Again, such themes here. Lots of light cards today, actually. There's a lot of like more darker cards in the deck, as in like more winter, like seed in the soil cards. But this is a wonderful celebratory card. It's the sun, right? So you can see in the artwork here, the sun looks like it's dripping golden nectar, like honey. It's all about enjoying your life, playing, doing things. Again, pleasure is a theme here. And yeah, it's just going out and enjoying yourself. So really following what lights you up, trusting that when you're in that play, joy space, everything opens up for us. You know, ideas come in fully formed. So play, enjoy yourself, have fun. That is what the sun card is here for. Okay, Rupal, a card for you. Plant yourself here. This card is really all about embodiment, of like inviting the soul to come all the way in. It is also, if you think about embodiment, what that really is like it's embodying the intuition or embodying the soul. We kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but even more in this context, it's about integration, grounded action, baby steps. You can see from the artwork that dear Katie Louise has done, it's a very, very powerful card. It's a potent card. The roots are deep, very, very deep. It's like unwavering, this card. And it is about like properly acting on the calls. So like, what are the baby steps that you're being called to take? So either it's the encouragement to just keep doing that, keep like going in that direction of the call of the soul. Or I would say, because there's definitely some grounded action already kind of happening here. It's also just about like a confirmation of the potency that you've been building, and to continue with that potency. Beautiful, Joelle. A beautiful soft card for you. This is, I'm sure you know this card. This is the healing card. And if you see, there's the rose at her heart, the rose at her, around her breasts, there's the rose in her lungs. And so this is heart healing, body healing, going into the watery world of the mother, and receiving that healing right down to the cells, from the top of your head to your fingertips. It is about like connection and the opportunity while we're healing, the weaving, the mending that's happening. And you know, there's lots of water in this card, there's lots of surrender in this card, particularly surrendering to the mystery of the healing process. And you know, it is also a card of like encouragement in the sense of like time will ease things. So it's a very, very soft, gentle, nurturing healing card. So healing is happening. Okay, and then Catherine, a card for you. This is not a dissimilar energy, in the sense of it's the mystic rose, which is like the compassion. It's about devotion and humility. You can see the rose at the heart again, in this card. But it is like, you know, this is the card of the mystic rose. There's a hint towards like Mother Mary there. And yeah, I think it is like a gentle devotional card. It's you know, like when this card comes up for me, for example, it's a constant invitation to like really turn my gaze within, to trust the devotion, to you know, if there is maybe there is something, a decision to make, say to do with work or in your life, like what if you were devoted, what would you do? Or if you were to make your life a moving prayer, what would you do? So this is all about devotion, humility, compassion, humanity as well. So your humanity, your connection with your soul and your spirit, but also connection with others too. All right, XO Melissa, card for you. This is a nice one. So this is the card of the bud. I actually had this image in an email this week. So, you know, the bud is about spring. It's about promise. It's about the potential of things. So it's like, if you imagine when like the bud is there at the beginning of spring, or it's bursting on through to the end of spring, and it's like really trying to, it's like as the energy is building, and then the bud opens and blooms. That's the energy of the bud, and so it's full of hope and promise and potential. So often the message here is like, keep going, keep trusting. Don't pry the petals open. Trust that the energy's there. Keep focusing. It's like it literally says here, it's about to happen. So really, a really beautiful confirmation for this card. And I know also the energy of the bud can sometimes feel exciting, but it can also feel like, whoa, that's a lot of pressure. I can feel it building. When is it going to blow, you know? And so, yeah, it's a beautiful card to get. And so if you are feeling like intense energy around whatever it is that is kind of wanting to bloom in your life, it's like keep focusing. Try not to kind of like overthink it or control or doubt it or, you know, question it. Just keep focusing, and, you know, keep watering that garden. So a really beautiful one as well for you. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to be back. I forget the date, but the date will be in my, I'll make sure I add it to Instagram and to Facebook soon. I think it's Monday week from memory. And so I hope to see you again then. I'm also going to be doing a something new coming up. I think it's on the 27th of October. I've just announced it on both Instagram and Facebook, where I'll be doing a live experience, live class, where I'm sharing what I've learned about spiritual practice since being a parent, since being a mum. I used to wake up every single morning and do my practice. Like, I was devoted to doing that. It's like how I've built my life. Did that for over a decade. And then the moment I became a mum, I honestly, I don't think I've woken up naturally, like as in not to a baby crying or yelling for me, which is like really nice as well as like very startling sometimes. I think that's happened like maybe 3 times in almost 3 years. So yeah, needless to say, my spiritual practice has changed, but it's actually taught me so much about embodiment and this compartmentalization of living a soul-led life and spiritual practice versus the everyday. And so there's always with the challenge, with the struggles, there's always the opportunity of like, oh, what am I being called to do here? So I've really been haven't really been teaching too much on this directly, but I definitely have been learning loads about how to integrate spirituality into our everyday. I call it weaving the sacred back in. So it's not just this thing that we have to go and do and then come back to the normal life and then go into nature and get grounded and then come back into the normal life. Like, how can we recognize the sacred that's all around us? How can we weave sacred practices back into our everyday life? And I think also, raising kids, like I've got my son and I'm about to have a little girl. It's really been an amazing syllabus, I think, of like, what would I have wanted to learn growing up about the sacred and about the trees and the flowers? What would I have wanted to learn about the soul, about intuition? And so, that's really the topic that has been coming up for me lately. And so I'm going to be sharing on that. So if you'd like to come, you'll find the link for that. I'm sure my team will pop it in the links below on Facebook and Instagram, but if not, you can find it. I've literally just posted on it, so you'll be able to see it on the news feed. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.